Hey guys, so tonight I wanted to quickly jump on and talk to you about 3 things that you must know when you are trying to plan an all-inclusive resort vacation. Okay, so the first thing, number one thing you need to know is what exactly is an all-inclusive resort. Okay, well, it's basically like you pay one cost up front, just a flat rate up front, and it covers all your accommodations, your food, your beverages, your most times your airport transportation to get you to and from the resorts, activities, entertainment, all of that is included in one price. The benefit of all-inclusive resorts is just a hassle-free experience because you pay that one upfront cost, and then when you show up, you can just let your hair down, have a good time. You don't have to worry about spending any additional money unless you decide to do something outside of what's already included. Let's say you want to leave the resort, go do some tours and excursions with a reputable tour operator or anything like that. You know, that's the only time you would have to pay any additional money. Other than that, your trip is paid for. All you have to do is show up and have a good time. Okay, so that's number one, is what is an all-inclusive resort, because a lot of times, sometimes people have it confused on what that actually is. The second thing you need to know when planning an all-inclusive vacation is they are not in the United States. Okay, all-inclusive resorts, the majority of them are in Mexico or Caribbean. Now, they have had some kind of pop up. There's some in Europe now. There's a couple in Africa, a couple in Asia. But for my clients, I would strongly discourage you of going to any of the all-inclusives in Europe, Asia, or Africa, because they're very cookie cutter and commercial. When you go that far to travel, when you go to another continent, you should experience their culture, their traditions, everything like that. So I would strongly discourage you to stay away from all-inclusives outside of Mexico and Caribbean. Mexico and Caribbean, what's really nice about those, a lot of those resorts do infuse the culture, and the vibe and everything of that country into the all-inclusive resorts. But the majority of them are in Mexico and Caribbean, and we do not have them here in the United States. That'll be a whole video to talk about why we don't have them in the United States, but we don't have them here. So ultimately, just stay away from those big box brands when you're going to Europe, Asia, Africa. Stay away from big box brands. You really want to try the luxury boutique hotels and lodges and things like that, so you can really experience the destination and the culture. Okay, third thing that you must know when planning an all-inclusive resort vacation is all-inclusive resorts are not created equal. So, sometimes people will say, well, if you go to one, you've been to all. That is not true. Listen, that is not true at all. There are levels to all-inclusive resorts, okay? I would encourage you, if you have done a lot of all-inclusive resorts and you're feeling burnt out and you're like, I'm ready for something new, I would strongly encourage you to do a 5+ star all-inclusive resort vacation. It is a completely different experience. Even down to like having a butler versus a concierge, not the same thing. And I will do a video to explain the difference between a butler and a concierge, because a lot of times people have a concierge service and they'll be like, I had a butler, but that wasn't a butler. Having a concierge and having a butler are not the same, but I'll do a video on that later. But yes, a 5+ star all-inclusive resort experience is a whole different experience. Down to, the concierge and the butler is one example. Your dining experiences. So if you have dietary restrictions or you eat a certain way, let's say you or even your children or your family, you have a specific, dietary needs or dietary restrictions. When you go to that 5+ star, every time you sit down to have a meal, they are asking you what your dietary needs are, what are your dietary restrictions. They ensure that you are able to eat according to your diet, your entire stay. Is not a one size fit all. It's a very custom, luxury type of experience. So it's not a one size fits all. All-inclusive resorts are not created equal. There are certain brands that I would never send my clients. It's just not the same. The experiences are not the same. So if you're getting burnt out or you feel like you've been to a lot of all-inclusives, just level up the experience and go to a higher end resort property so you can actually see the difference. Not just see the difference, but you're going to feel the difference. It is a completely different experience. You go to a 2 or 3 star all-inclusive resort versus when you go to a 5 star. And those are the top 3 things, that are come to mind when you're thinking about planning an all-inclusive. But I'm just thinking of questions that we get or people that reach out and they might be looking for all-inclusive in the United States, or they might be looking for all-inclusive in another continent. And again, they are popping up in other continents. They do have some in Europe, Asia, and Africa, but I wouldn't suggest you do those because they're like big box brands, and it's not a real authentic experience for those continents. So if you're ready to plan a group getaway, you know who to call. Click the link in the bio, schedule a consultation. Of course, we'll take care of you. And even if you are not a good fit for our services, we have a number of advisors that we can refer you to that will take care of you. So that's all. Send us a DM as always if you have a question. Talk soon. Bye.